As everyone has become more savvy about skincare, they've come to realize that a 10-step skincare routine isn't necessary. Instead, you want to be intentional and layer products with purpose, and I'm going to show you how. I'm Dr. Sam Ellis. I'm a board-certified medical and cosmetic dermatologist in Northern California, and I love all things skin and skincare and really educating my patients and my followers about not just choosing skincare that's interesting, but choosing skincare that's actually right for your skin, when, how, and why to use things. So if that sounds good to you, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This video includes a partnership with Stylevana. If you've been here before, you know that I love buying products from Stylevana. It's essentially a one-stop online shop to buy amazing Asian skincare and beauty products, and everything I mentioned in this video you can get there. They've also given me a code to share with you guys, which is INF10 Dr. Sam. They are also including a little gift with purchase for the first 500 people who shop using that code. I will include all of the details in the description box as well as links to everything. Since this video is all about layering skincare products with intention and kind of condensing your routine down to your essentials, what I thought I'd do is take sort of the classic 10-step Korean skincare routine and bring it down to 5 steps. Korea is such a pioneer when it comes to skin health, skin beauty, skin care. Like, they're always 2 steps ahead. And what I like about their 10-step skincare routine is they really taught people how to be thoughtful, how to ritualize skincare, and to really think about what you're doing. Like, skin is not an afterthought anymore. It's something you actually focus on. And the idea also with the 10-step skincare routine is that you're working in thin layers to build hydration and suppleness within the skin. The problem with the 10-step skincare routine is that that is not feasible for most people for time, cost, efficiency reasons to do that on a regular basis. And so what I thought I'd do is just kind of like hone in on what I think are sort of the essential steps, at least for me, and I can kind of give you my reasoning why so you can adapt the routine to you. Isn't this headband cute? Anyway, so we'll get into the routine. I think, first of all, I just want to go over what a typical 10-step Korean skincare routine is, because some of you guys might be like, well, what does that even involve in the first place? I think there's a little bit of debate about what the perfect order for a Korean skincare routine really is, but the way I learned it, at least, is starting with a double cleanse. So oil cleanse, then a water cleanse. You exfoliate, toner, essence, then serums, then sheet mask, then moisturizer, eye cream, sunscreen. Whew. Let's just jump right into the routine, and I'll kind of explain how I've pared that down as we go through things. That was a lot to think about, let alone perform. So the first thing I'm gonna do is actually go in with a water-based cleanser. So right off the bat, we are skipping the oil cleanse. The reason for that is this is a morning skincare routine. You guys have heard me say it before. I don't think everyone even needs to wash their face with a cleanser in the morning. Like, a little bit of water will do for some people, but I did have some thicker skincare on last night. I can feel a little bit of that residue still on my face this morning. So I do want to go in and sort of prep my face with a cleanser so that all of the other skincare that I go in and apply absorbs to sort of the maximum benefit. This is the Haru Haru Wonder Black Rice Moisture Soft Cleansing Gel. I really like this. It's got a ton of glycerin in it, which, you know, from my own skincare line, big glycerin fan. So you can kind of see that like jelly type texture. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to that. And I like to always like lather it up in my skin. So make kind of like a micro bubble here, and then just work it into my face. Even though I sometimes skip a cleanser in the morning, I do enjoy when I take the time to cleanse, because I just feel like it kind of wakes me up, allows me to sort of get ready for my day, give myself a little bit of a facial massage. So we'll just work that into the skin. It feels so lovely. I also really like that this is like fragrance free, which is great for people who have sensitive skin, because I feel like cleansers can be one thing that like really strip the skin, and people always think, oh, it's a cleanser, it's totally harmless, but cleansers actually bring a lot of value to a skincare routine. And so you want to make sure you're picking one that sort of aligns with, I don't really like to say skin type, but aligns with kind of like what your skin can tolerate and what kind of makes your skin feel good afterward. All right, let's rinse this off. Now that that's rinsed off, I'm just gonna pat the skin dry. I love that my face doesn't look bright red. Because of my rosacea, sometimes I'll go in with a cleanser, and if I'm too aggressive or the cleanser is too intense, my skin just flushes afterwards. So the fact that my skin looks relatively normal right now and it doesn't feel dry or tight is such a good sign that that was an appropriate gentle cleanser for me. So cleansing is done. The next step in a traditional 10-step Korean skincare routine would be exfoliation. So I am going to exfoliate a little bit. Now I will say exfoliation is not part of my everyday skincare routine. I might incorporate it 2 times a week, depending on the exfoliant. Some exfoliants are so gentle that you could use them every day, depending on your skin. Some are more potent and you might want to use them just once a week. It doesn't really matter if you use an exfoliant in the morning or in the evening. I like to use mine in the morning typically because I often use tretinoin or some type of retinoid in the evening, and it can be a little bit too irritating if you're using those together. So if I am using it in the evening, then I just sort of like skip my retinoid for that night. So today I'm going in with an exfoliant that I've really been enjoying. This is the COSRX BHA Blackhead Power Liquid. And what I love about this is it feels a little bit more gentle than a typical 2% salicylic acid type of exfoliant that you would purchase in the United States. So in Korea, there are regulations around using higher percentages of salicylic acid in products. So they will often use something called betaine salicylate, which is similar to salicylic acid, but is a little bit more moisturizing, a little bit more gentle on the skin. And just a reminder, when it comes to incorporating like a beta hydroxy acid into your routine, the whole point of that type of exfoliant is to delve into the pores and kind of help clear those out. So beta hydroxy acids are drawn to lipids or fats, which live within the pore. Compare that to something like an alpha hydroxy acid, such as glycolic acid or lactic acid, that tends to sit more on the skin surface and break apart dead skin cells there. So what I'm gonna do is take maybe like just 1 pump, like a little goes a long way. This is so liquidy, and you could apply it to a cotton pad, but I find you just lose so much of the product when you do it that way. And I'm really going to focus this on areas where I have congestion. So I've been traveling a lot lately, and so I can just see like the blackheads are blackheading, you know? And so I'm just gonna kind of go in through the jawline, especially in women. We have a lot of oil glands in our chin area that can tend to get clogged. And I'm gonna go in on my nose and then kind of through the forehead. You know, this is typically called the T-zone, but I feel like it's more like an eye zone for women because we get that jawline involvement so often. I also like that this feels a bit more hydrating than a traditional salicylic acid type exfoliant. And I like the idea of focusing on hydration, especially as we go into fall and winter where the air is drier and there's indoor heating. Like adding a moisturizing step or focusing on products that bring moisture and hydration into the skin can be a really nice way to sort of tweak your routine to where your skin is at. All right, 2 steps down. The next step in a traditional 10-step Korean skincare routine would be toner. And I am technically going in with a toner because this is called a toner, but I will explain why in my mind it's not really a toner. This is the Numbuzin 3 Toner Super Glowing Essence. That is the full name of this. Now, the reason I don't think of this as a toner really is because traditionally toners were used to balance the pH, so the acidity level of the skin. And the reason skin needed balancing and it wasn't able to sort of self-balance is because cleansers in the past used to be much more harsh and stripping, and they would bring the pH of the skin way too high, make it way too basic. And essentially what that would do is compromise the skin barrier and the integrity of the skin. So you needed to go in with a toner afterward to level out the pH again. Nowadays, cleansers are so gentle that that's not really necessary. And so I don't think of this as a toner in the traditional sense, but because it's called toner, we will include it as like the toner in our routine today. But because it also has the name Super Glowing Essence, and the whole point of an essence in a skincare routine is really to hydrate the skin, and this is incredibly hydrating. To me, this is also an essence step. And the next step in a Korean skincare routine would be a serum. And this is so hydrating that I truly think of it as a hydrating serum essence toner all in one. This baby does a lot, and it's so phenomenal. So we will just take a couple little drops of that. If you watched my favorite Korean moisturizer and sunscreen video appear on YouTube, this was included in that. And you might be like, well, why would you include a toner in a moisturizer video? But for this exact reason, it's so hydrating and moisturizing on the skin. Like for some people, doing this and then just going in with sunscreen, skipping other moisturizing steps would be totally appropriate. I love just pressing this into the skin. This is special. There is no dupe for this that I have even come close to finding. This has 50 fermented ingredients, and fermented skincare ingredients are kind of coming more into vogue. Again, leave it to Korea to be pioneering in this, but the way that it hydrates the skin, balances the skin, I mean, when I have this in my routine, I can tell like my skin all day looks better, feels better. It's awesome. And I'm actually going to go in and grab a bit more of this for my neck and décolleté. This doesn't feel like a traditional toner also in that it is not astringent, so it doesn't feel like it is stripping the skin in any way. It's also a bit thicker than a traditional toner, so that's why I kind of think of it as a hydrating serum as well. Like, I wouldn't feel the need after applying this to go in and put on like a hyaluronic acid serum or a glycerin serum or something like that. So this is really accomplishing a lot in a single step. So that's 3 steps down, 2 to go. Do you have any guesses about what those next 2 steps might be? If you're going down that traditional list of a Korean skincare routine, we just passed serums, and you can also always layer multiple serums, right? Like if you wanted to add a peptide serum for anti-aging or something like that, you don't have to just use one serum in a routine. But again, I'm trying to keep this focused on hydration and moisturization. And to me, also, this is a great like sensitive skin or gentle skincare routine. So if we've passed serums, then the 4 remaining steps in a traditional routine for a 10-step Korean skincare routine would be sheet mask, moisturizer, eye cream, and sunscreen. And we only are going to do 2 of those. So I am going in next with a moisturizer. If you have time to apply a sheet mask in the morning, bless you. I certainly do not. And honestly, I'm just not like the biggest sheet mask person in general. I feel like if you're just like applying your hydrating serums, you're kind of getting to that. To me, it's a nice thing if you're trying to kind of relax or ritualize your routine, but it's certainly not part of an everyday or every week even routine for me. But I'm going to go in with this moisturizer by Isntree. It's the hyaluronic acid moist cream. Now that I think about it, this was also in my favorite Korean moisturizers video. This is excellent, especially if you have really dry skin or you always feel like, gosh, my skin feels so thirsty. Even after I apply moisturizer, like I feel like my moisturizer just disappears on my skin. This has presence in like the best way. I love that it has hyaluronic acid in multiple different forms here to help draw water to the skin's surface and kind of give that immediate plumping effect. But then it also has several different plant oils, which really support the skin barrier. So I'm gonna go in with about a blueberry sized amount. Oh, this feels so nice. It's so slippery, it just glides effortlessly over the skin. I am going to take it all the way up under my eyes. So I'm not going to be doing an eye cream in this video. And I would say a lot of eye creams aren't necessary. I have a few that I absolutely love, but you can use your moisturizer as an eye cream, that's fine. And then just take some down the neck as well. And like, even though that is a rich moisturizer, it feels light on the skin. It's there, but it doesn't feel really like waxy. And I'm not the biggest fan of like waxy moisturizers. And this just feels creamy and light despite being so hydrating. So I usually just give that a few minutes to kind of absorb and dry down a little bit before I go in with my final step of my skincare routine, which is of course sunscreen. I don't care how condensed you make your morning skincare routine. If nothing else, put sunscreen on. And there are literally days when I am running out the door, my alarm didn't go off, something happened where I cannot do my perfect skincare routine, and the only thing that goes on my face in the morning is sunscreen, and that is also okay. And the sunscreen I'm going to go in with today is one of my favorite Korean sunscreens. And like, Korea just like really excels when it comes to sunscreens. I feel like for a lot of people, if they're used to traditional American sunscreens and then they try like their first Korean sunscreen, it is just mind-blowing. But this is the Madagascar Centella Hyaluronic Water Fit Sun Serum SPF 50 PA+++++. This is not the first time you've seen me use this on my channel. I like it a lot, and so we're gonna use this today. First of all, I am a sucker for like a good pump, and like the way this curves, the way it just, your finger just fits perfectly in that little saddle. So nice. I'm gonna start with just like, all right, I'm getting to the bottom of my tube here. I'm gonna go in with 2 layers of sunscreen. So you might see that and be like, oh, that's kind of a lot of sunscreen. No, it's not enough sunscreen. The huge mistake I see with people in sunscreen is under applying. And if you under apply your sunscreen, you do not get that full SPF 50, and that is so essential. And then you saw on the bottle too, and I mentioned that it's PA+++++. So that's not a rating that you see on all American sunscreens, but you will see it on all Asian sunscreens. And it's really a measure of the UVA protection. So sunscreens should be broad spectrum. They should protect you from both UVB light and UVA light. UVB is what traditionally causes burns and skin cancer. UVA can also contribute to skin cancer and burns, but is more infamous for causing premature skin aging. So when you see PA++++, that is kind of the highest UVA protection that you can get out of an Asian sunscreen. And so you get that extra sort of like anti-aging benefit of sunscreen, which, you know, some of us are applying sunscreen to not get skin cancer. Some of us are applying it for vanity reasons. Most of us, I think, are applying it for both. So that's one layer on, and just like I love how supple my skin feels, yet this is not a wet sunscreen. Like, it's not going to be super glowy. I'm not going to look oily or shiny. It just dries down to like the perfect skin-like finish. So I'm gonna go in and grab basically the same amount that I already did and go in with a second layer. I feel like sometimes too, if you try to do all of your sunscreen at once and not work in layers, you end up like rubbing a lot of it out on your hands, or like it's just like spreading to places that doesn't really give you the most benefit. So we're gonna go in with that second layer. I am gonna go over my eyelids. So if you are sensitive to sunscreen, where the point where it stings your eyes, I don't find this stings my eyes at all, but if you are, you know, more sensitive, you don't have to put sunscreen all the way around your eyes, but then when you are outside, I do encourage you to wear sunglasses that have UV protection so you can get protection that way. So directly over the eyelids, no issues there. And then we're gonna go neck. Depending on if I'm gonna wear my hair up or down, I will also always bring it onto like the back of my neck. I will do my ears, but I will do that later when I'm gonna go outside. So that is the sunscreen. I mean, I love it. And with that, this skincare routine is over. I feel like my skin feels awesome. I feel like it looks really nice, if I do say so myself. I'm gonna go on now and put on makeup and all of that. What are your favorite Korean skincare products? Please share them with me in the comments. I think also other people like to read the comments and know what else they might wanna pick up or might be interested in trying. So please share. As always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will catch you next time.